Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Sadhu. So today's a talk which is there is about ties or bonds. This is from Anguttara Nikaya, book of 4. The sutta is sutta number 10. I'll share you the link. This is updated. Okay. Okay. I have to copy this. So, okay, I can put it. So this is the link of the sutta. It is about the bonds. The Buddha is talking about the bonds or the ties. Students, there are these 4 bonds. What 4? The bound of sensuality, the bound of existence, the bound of views, and the bound of ignorance. So these are the things which are bounding you to the samsara. So the first one is, and what a student is the bound of sensuality. So sensuality means any sense organs you have any attachment, like through the eye, ear, nose, tongue, feeling, or you have the mind. So any of those sense organs, you have an attachment, that is the sense organs, and that is the sensuality which the Buddha is talking about. And you may be kind of attracted or kind of attached to something visual. So some people want something which is looking beautiful, or has certain color, or has such a certain kind of a kind of feeling. Only those kind of things they will go for. There are certain people who are kind of attached to hearing. There are certain songs are there, or certain kinds of movies are there, or certain kinds of instruments are there. Only they want to listen to that. Then some people are attracted to a smell. So they want certain perfumes, or they want to burn certain kind of incense. There is one sutta in, I think, Samyutta Nikaya, where a bhikkhu is there who, after having lunch, before sitting for the meditation, he would go in the middle of the pond and smell a lotus. So there was a deva who was the relative of the bhikkhu. So he thought that this bhikkhu is doing his work well. But still, I think he is getting attached to certain sense things, you know. So what he did was he went to the bhikkhu and said, see, bhikkhu, you are going to the pond to smell the lotus, but that is also a attachment to a sense organ, or an attachment of sensuality is there in just being attached to a smell of the lotus. And then he realized, okay, I am getting attached to certain things which is related to sense, you know. So there is a sense of ego which comes up with everything which we kind of do. So if this is the smell which is there, this is, I like the smell. So without this I, there is no attachment to the smell. So without the I like this taste, or I like this food, there is a kind of a attachment or ego which is generated at that point of time. So the bhikkhu understood that, and then he stopped doing that act. So in that way, sensuality is very kind of linked to all what we are doing. We cannot do anything which is not related to sensuality. Here, someone does not understand as they really are the origin, the passing away, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in regard to sensual pleasures. So this 5 steps which are there has been told by the Buddha in many of the suttas. So this is a concept which kind of gets repeated, the origin and passing away. So how something comes up and how it goes away. So that is the origin and passing away. Then the gratification. So anything which is there is worth indulging, like there is a good movie, or a picture is there, a good music is there, a good smell is there, a good taste is there, a good feeling is there. a good thought is there. So all of those things which are worth kind of indulging in has certain amount of gratification in it. So say you are having an ice cream. So when you are having the ice cream, when you are having a taste of that ice cream, you will have that pleasure which is there. That is the gratification which is there. So first, what does not one does not understanding is the origin. Origin means that how this came up. Then it does not understand is how it will go away. So certain things are there explained in the Sutta Dikhanikaya of 1. This is Brahmajala Sutta. Brahmajala Sutta has a lot of things the Buddha is talking about of views. So that is important, but it is also important in explaining us the arising and passing away of things. Certain times we don't know what is the, because of the ignorance, we are not able to understand how the certain things are arising. So the origination we don't understand. We don't understand the passing away. We don't understand the gratification. The gratification is the pleasure which we derive. So the Buddha says that there is pleasure. That is the reason we are able to see the pain. So when there is sukha, that is a reason we can understand the dukkha. So dukkha is a reality, but the sukha is also a reality. So over here, the Buddha is saying that there is a gratification, but there is a danger. After that gratification, what is the danger? The danger is that everything which arises and gives us a kind of pleasure is impermanent. So if we are enjoying that ice cream, the ice cream will get over. If you are enjoying that movie will get over. If you are enjoying that music music will stop playing. So everything which you are kind of attached to or get pleasures through, that has a danger, and that danger is the impermanence of that product which is there, which is giving you pleasure. So underlying truth of the reality of the universe is that everything is impermanent. That means that nothing can give you a pleasure on a permanent basis. So that is the danger and the escape. And escape is what? The escape is simply mentioned as the eightfold path. So the eightfold path is explained by Bhante Vimal Ramsey as 6 hours. So then it is about 6 hours. So when you have a kind of wish, I will have an ice cream, then you know that this wish will pass away. So there is an origination of a wish, there is a passing away of the wish. Then you understand that whatever you kind of consume, there is a gratification, but there is a danger also in that. Based on that, you can get away from this by 6 houring. So when we say that there is an escape from this thing, the escape is you can 6 hour. When you are 6 houring, then you do not fall into the danger and the gratification, that cycle which is there, you would not fall into that. So in terms of sensual pleasures, the origin, passing away, gratification, danger, and the escape is not understood. When one does not understand these things as they really are, that sensual lust, sensual delight, sensual affection, sensual infatuation, sensual thirst, sensual passion, sensual attachment, and sensual craving lie deep within one in regard to sensual pleasure. This is called the bond of sensuality. So when you do not understand the fundamental nature of the sense pleasures, that how they originate, how they pass away, how what is the gratification in it, what is the danger in it, and how you can escape it. This events you do not understand, then there are different kinds of attachments which are there. There is a lust for it, means you want it. You are delight in it, means you kind of whenever you get it, you are very happy in indulging in it. You have affection for the sensual pleasures. You have infatuation. You have thirst. So all these things come about by not understanding. Then there is such is the bond of sensuality. And how is there the bond of existence? Here someone does not understand as they really are the origin, the passing away, the gratification, the danger and escape in regard to states of existence. When one does not understand these things as they really are, then lust for existence, delight for existence, affection for existence, infatuation for existence, thirst for existence, passions for existence, attachment to existence, and the craving for existence lie deep within one in regard to states of existence. This is called the bond of existence. So what is the attachment for existence, which is actually a very subtle attachment. So even an anagami has certain attachment to existences. Like he has attachment to having the fine material existence. He has attachment to have a material existence. So he has certain kind of attachment still. Those may be even wholesome kind of attachments, like he may want to become a arahat. That attachment is also there for being a kind of a material being, a being, a all seeing being. Say he wants a psychic ability to be a being who can see 10,000 world systems. That attachment is also there of being and being in existence. And then there is fine attachment existence to be in a fine fine material being or plane of fine material like in Devaloka or be a Brahma. So those may be even subtle kind of attachments which are there, which is there at the time of being an anagami. So those are the kind of fundamental attachments, because we always want to be somebody. Like when we are small kids, kids have this kind of fantasy of being a doctor or an engineer or a fireman, or certain things which kind of he sees and he likes, like an astronaut. So those kind of desires are there. When a person are religiously inclined, they say, okay, I want to become a Brahma, or I want to be reborn in a Brahmaloka, or I want to be reborn in a Devaloka. So all those kind of attachments are there. Again, in Brahmajala Sutta, the Buddha says that beings don't understand how it is originating and how it is passing away. So Buddha talks about the world system. So in the world system, what happens is that everything is there and a static, which is called the period before Big Bang. Okay, we'll just use the words Big Bang, but this is the kind of lines up with what the Buddha is saying. So the state which is there, they say that it is a state which is dormant state is there. Then it starts expanding. Okay, when it expands, there is life possible on this earth. And then what happens is after that, it kind of expands to the maximum possible expansion, and it stays there. At that point of time, there is no life possible. So when there is no life possible in this realm, then it goes to a different Devaloka, and all the beings on the most part will be reborn in that Devaloka. And then they will stay there and they will have a pleasurable abiding at that point of time. After that, what happens is it kind of again gets contracted and then comes into the static state. When it is coming to the static state, and then again it starts expanding, those beings which are there at the time of the last expansion had gone to different Devalokas. They will be reborn in this new formed universe. Now, when they are getting reborn, the first being who is reborn based on his karma will think that I am the Brahma, I am the creator of this, because there is nobody over here and I am over here. So I must have created this because I cannot see anybody. Then he wishes, after some time, he gets bored and said, I want a being to appear over here. So in course of time, because there is no kind of clock over there, or there is no kind of day or night, so he's not able to know the passing of time. But it feels for him that when he said a being should appear, a being appears. When the being appears, he said, I am not, I came over here and there is this Brahma is there. So this must be the creator, my creator, and the Mahabrahma. And then he thinks, the Mahabrahma thinks that, oh, I must have created him, because when I thought the being should get, I should have companion beings, and this companion being started appearing. But it happens on a natural basis, and then he kind of does not understand in this place the origin, how the existence, the basic existence, the origin of existence, he does not understand. He does not understand how it all passes away. He does not understand that after the period of this expansion, then there is a period which is called the asankhya, uncountable period which is there. After that, again, this will all end. So that is how he does not understand. He kind of has gratification of this being the king or the Brahma, Mahabrahma, but he does not have know the danger in it, because this is also an impermanent position. Even being in Parabrahma is also an impermanent position that he does not understand. He does not understand the escape, the eightfold path which is there. He does not understand that. Or what we say is 6R. He does not understand that concept of escaping from this. So thus he is still bound in this samsara. So that is the bond of existence. And then such are the bond of sensuality and the bond of existence. And how is there the bond of views? Here someone does not understand as they really are, the origin and the passing away, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in the views in regard to views. When one does not understand these things as they really are, then lust for views, delight in views, affection for views, infatuation with views, thirst for views, passion for views, attachment to views, and cravings for views lie deep within one in regard to view. This is called the bonds of views. So in bonds of views also, we are attached because we don't understand how they originate and how they pass away. What is the gratification in it? What is the danger in it? And what is the escape from it? So in Brahmajala Sutta itself, the Buddha is talking about many ways the views are formed. One way of the forming of the view is that somebody has a psychic ability, but it has a limited psychic ability. So say he is born and he becomes a kind of a ascetic. He becomes a monk, and then by doing meditation, he has the ability to see the past life. Then he sees that, okay, in the past life, I was doing, bad things. But because I was doing bad things, but still I was reborn in a Devaloka. So he understands that, oh, doing a bad thing has no adverse consequences. Some other monk will look at the past life. They can just see one or two of their past lives. And then they go into a conclusion that in the past life, I was doing good things, but I was born in the hell realm. So he does not understand in the bigger picture what is happening. Then he says that, okay, if you do good, there is no benefit for doing good. So those kind of theories were also there at the time of the Buddha. So those kind of views which are there are based upon the wrong understanding, and by not able to see the bigger picture. The Buddha says that in this scenario, what happens is that if the person who has done the good, he will get his kind of benefit at a later point in the life. But this time, at this point of time, the causes and condition was there that he had to go to hell. There's one story in the Buddha. There is a king who comes to the Buddha and asks what happened to the queen after the queen passes away. So Buddha does not talk about the queen for 7 days. For 7 days, the Buddha does not say where the queen is. Then on the 8th day, when the Buddha is approached by the king, and the king says that, can you please tell me what is my wife's destination? Where has she kind of been reborn? So Buddha says that your wife has been reborn in a Deva realm. So he's very happy and kind of satisfied, and he kind of goes away. Then there are monks who are there around the Buddha. They say, Bhante, why did you not tell the king for 7 days the destination for her wife's passing away. So Buddha said that for certain reasons, for some minor infraction she had done, she had to go to the hell realm for 7 days. After that 7 days, she kind of went to the heaven realm. So if I had told him about that, he would not be able to understand in his grief, in his kind of a sensitive situation which he is there. Then he would have a kind of misunderstood the situation. That is the reason I waited for her wife, because I knew that she would not stay in the hell realm for more than 7 days. So after she had passed away to the heaven realm, I informed him, and her wife would stay there for a long period of time. So that is a reason how the kind of existences or the views which are there about existences are formed. When those kind of views are formed, they are formed basically because of the misunderstanding. Then there is another way of forming the views is some people use just logic. That as we are not able to, as normal human beings, we are not able to kind of remember the past lifetimes, or there is no way to kind of prove the past lifetime as per the scientific kind of standards they have put in. So then there should not be any past lives, or there may not be any future lives. So that is why logic, a certain person kind of form a view. And then there are certain existing views which are there. Because of that, they kind of extrapolate, and then they make a different view based on the extrapolation of the views. So there are many different ways the views are there. In Brahmajala, I think it is 108 views or something like that. But there are many views which are mentioned in the Brahmajala. So there are views which are a kind of eternalistic view, partial eternalistic view. Then there is universal doctrines that the universe is finite, it is infinite, it is both finite and infinite. So there are many different views which are there, which are made based on many different things. So what the Buddha is saying, that the views can be very sorry, the views which are there, the views can be kind of you can not understand how they are originating, what is their origination, what is their passing away, what is the gratification which we take in the views. So by not understanding that, then what happens is we can get delight in views, we can get affliction to views, we can get infatuation to views, then we can get attached and we can have craving for views. So the Buddha is saying that you have to understand that. Such are the bound of sensuality, the bound of existence, and the bond of views. And how is there a bond of ignorance? Here someone does not understand as they really are, the origin and the passing away, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in regard to the 6 bases of contact. So the 6 bases of contact is very important to understand. When one does not understand these things as they really are, then ignorance and unknowing lie deep within one in regard to the 6 bases of contact. So I like this word unknowing. So ignorance and unknowing. So meaning that not knowing certain truth lie deep within one in regard to the 6 contact bases. Yes, 1 second. Somebody is there at the door. You can pause the this thing. So the unknowing which is there is we are not knowing what is happening. So this is called the bond of ignorance. Such are the bond of sensuality, the bond of existence, the bond of views, and the bond of ignorance. So the 6 sense bases which are there, the contact is considered to be the importance. So this is something which we can see in our meditation. Once we advance in our meditation, and once we are able to go into a quieter minds, then we are able to look at all those contacts which happen in our mind. We can see in the mind's eye those contacts which are happening. So when the contact happens, what happens is there is a feeling. When there is feeling, there is a kind of craving is there. So when there is feeling, feeling also has perception in it. So as we can see from the Majjhima Nikaya 18, I think Dr. Madhusudan ji had agreed to do it next week. He will read Pali and also give the translation. So by that, we can understand that when there is a feeling, there is a perception in it. When there is a perception, then there are thinking about it. So all those things which are there is not understood. So how they origin? So the contact origin of the contact is also mentioned by the Buddha. So because for the contact to be, there is a six sense basis has to be there. For the six sense basis to be there should be mentality and materiality. When there is mentality, materiality, the consciousness has to be there for the mentality and materiality to exist. So for the consciousness also there is sankhara which is there. And for sankhara also there is ignorance which is there. So all those things are linked, and then that is the origin of that contact. Then what is the passing away? So what happens is there is a birth of action, then there is a death of that phenomena. So that is the passing away. So one does not understand how it originates, how it passes away, how one seeks gratification in this, which has arisen, and how the danger is there in that what is gain gratification from, and how there is an escape, which is the eightfold path or the 6 R's. So all those things is also linked to the dependent origination. So the Buddha is saying that one does not understand the escape in regard to the 6 bases of contact. So the escape in regard to the 6 bases of contact is how we can understand the 6 R. So when certain things arises, there is a feeling, then there is a craving. When once you are able to kind of know there is a tension and tightness in a higher meditation, you will be able to let go of that. And when if you are in more quiet of a mind, and you are in a quiet mind, then you will be able to see what has happened before that also. At the time of feeling only, one is sensitive enough to kind of gauge and then let go. So that is the escape which is there. That is the 6 R, or what the Buddha calls is the eightfold path which is there. That is what is the escape. So once we know this, then we are able to escape. So one is fettered by bad, unwholesome state that are defiling, conducive to renewed existence. So the experience which is there, if you are attached to certain things, then there is a renewal of existence. So the Buddha talks in many suttas that the renewal of beings is not possible unless there is craving. So the definition of Nibbana is also the giving up of all cravings. So for a being to be reborn, there has to be there a kind of attachment, conducive to renewed existence, troublesome. Troublesome, maybe you can say that dukkha, the word dukkha can be used over here also. Troublesome, ripening in suffering, leading to future birth, old age, and death. Therefore, one is said to be not secure from bondage. These are the 4 bonds. So those are the 4 bonds which are there. There are students. These 4 severances of bond means you can cut the ties. So there is 4 ways to cut the ties also. So the Buddha talks about there are 4 ways where we are tied into samsara. There are 4 ways how you can cut yourself from the samsara. What 4? The severance of the bond of sensuality, the severance of the bond of existence, the severance of the bond of views, and the severance of the bond of ignorance. And what, students, is a severance of the bond of sensuality? Here someone understands as they really are, the origin and passing away, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in regard to sensual pleasures. When one understands these things as they really are, then sensual lust, sensual delight, sensual affection, sensual infatuation, sensual thirst, sensual passion, sensual attachment, sensual craving do not lie within one in regard to sensual pleasures. This is called the severance of the bond of sensuality. So once one understands how certain things arises and certain things kind of passes away, and certain thing where we derive gratification from, and what is the danger in that gratification, and what is the escape. The eightfold path is the escape, or what we call as siksar. So if there is a thought of, say, indulging in certain breaking of precepts, so there are 5 precepts are there: do not kill, do not steal. Say if there is something which is there, which is very valuable, which is there, and there is nobody guarding it. Once a thought comes up, then you recognize that this thought has come up, and then you recognize that there is a danger. There is a maybe pleasure in getting that thing, but there is also a danger in it. And what is the escape? There is an escape where we can siksar and let that thought pass away. So in that sense, when we are knowing the origination, the passing away, the gratification, the danger and the escape, then we will not kind of give importance to the sensual, our desires which are there, which is linked to our senses, the looking at good things, hearing good music or good sounds, smelling good smells, tasting good tastes, kind of feeling good textures, or thinking good things. Like texture is not paid much attention, but you can see that there are certain kind of fabrics which are very popular, like silk is there, like suede is there. All those are based on not looks, but the feel which they give, when you can touch or when you have it on the body, what is the feeling you are having. So those feelings are also very important in our day-to-day lives. If you are in a hot weather and you wear something nylon, so you know that how it feels. And if you have a pure cotton kind of robe also for monks, they know how it kind of feels. It feels different. So those are the feelings which are linked to the sensuality. Such is the severance of the bond of sensuality. And how is the severance of the bond of existence? Here someone understands as they really are the origin and the passing away, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in regard to the states of existence. When one understands these things as they really are, then lust for existence, delight in existence, affection for existence, infatuation with existence, thirst for existence, passion for existence, attachment to existence, and craving for existence do not lie within one in regard to states of existence. This is called the severance of the bond of existence. So one understands the reality of the matter, how the existence arises, how it kind of passes away, how there is a gratification we find from the existence, like being in the life, the common reference in many of the movies you'll see is that a person is kind of very attached to the lives. And then if somebody is wanting to kind of take that life, don't, the character will say, don't kill me, because I want to live. So that is the fundamental which is there, the desire which is there for everybody. There is one other very good story about one nun in Thailand who thought that she was an arahat. And she was very good in practice, and she was kind of very popular, and she had a very good following of nuns also. But one day she was kind of passing a lane, maybe in a hotel lobby, or so, I mean, say in a hotel, if she was trying to enter, and then a car suddenly came from the other direction. Maybe they were trying to park the car somewhere or something. And this guy was very fast, and they suddenly came, and she saw the car just come very close to her, and she was not able to move at that point of time. And she kind of realized that there was a fear which is there, which arose in her for the death. So then she realized, oh, I am not still an arahat. There is one other story in the suttas where there are a teacher who is a monk who is very good, who is very advanced in his meditation, but he is still not an arahat. But at that point of time, he is so convinced that he is arahat, nobody can convince otherwise. But those students which are there become arahants, and they develop the psychic abilities. And they see that my teacher thinks that he is an arahat, but he is still not an arahat. I need to kind of be diplomatic about this thing, situation, and not kind of offend him. and let them know that my teacher is not an arahat. So what he does is he kind of psychically creates an elephant, and that makes the elephant charge when they are sitting in discussion, charge towards the teacher. And when the teacher sees the elephant come charging towards him, he has a fear of death. And then he realizes that, and then as soon as he realizes that he has fear of death in him, the elephant disappears. And then he recognizes that his students have done this for him, so that he can recognize that he is still not an arahant. He still has to work on his meditation. He has to still has some work pending. So then that means that the bond which is there to existence is a very strong one, which everybody has. So one has to understand how it originates, how it passes away. What is the gratification? When we are there, we are very happy, but it is danger is there. Danger is there that someday we are going to pass away. And what is the escape from this? This is the same eightfold path. When we are doing the and following the eightfold path, what happens is it leads to the end of the samsara. So that is how the bond from the existence which is there is severed or cut. The bond is cut for the lust for existence. Such are the severance of the bond of sensuality and the severance of the bond of existence. And how is there the severance of bond of views? Here someone understands as they really are the origin and the passing away, the gratification, the danger and the escape in regard to views. When one understands these things as they really are, then lust for views, delight in views, affection for views, infatuation with views, thirst for views, passion for views, attachment to views, and craving for views do not lie within one in regard to views. This is called the severance of bond of views. So the attachment or the craving for views which are there is also very subtle, and we all have certain views which are called the fundamental kind of views which we kind of live with. And because of that views, and we are not kind of questioning those views. We are not questioning how those views came into being, how kind of they will pass away, and what is the gratification you are finding in those views, and what is the danger in it, and how you can escape from it. So when you are able to understand the origination of views, like the Buddha says that in meditation, when one sees the dependent origination, then he sees that it is everything is linked to something else. Everything is dependent on something else. And there is no kind of controller when one looks at the arising and passing away of all things on the basis of causes and conditions. So in that sense, the views are also formed based on our thinking, our limited understanding of things. And when we understand our limited understanding, understand that that those views which are there, which are come from the past, like in the Kalama Sutta, the Buddha says that once that you should not accept it just because it was in the past, just because the person who says is kind of very good at speaking, not because the person is kind of respected by others, so we will respect, not because he's an elder. So the views which are there, we are accepting. We have to be clear about how we accept and follow the views. So that is the bond of views. Then such are the severance of the bond of sensuality, the severance of the bond of existence, the severance of the bond of views. And how is the severance of the bond of ignorance? Here someone understands as they really are, the origin, the passing away, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in regard to the 6 bases of contact. When one understands these things as they really are, then ignorance and unknowing do not lie within one in regard to the 6 bases of contact. This is called the severance of the bond of ignorance. Such are the severance of the bond of sensuality, the severance of the bond of existence, the severance of the bond of views, and the severance of the bond of ignorance. So the 6th sense base, when there is a contact, then there is a feeling. Then when there is a feeling, then there is craving. When there is craving, there is clinging. When there is clinging, there is habitual tendencies. When there is habitual tendencies, then there is birth, of action. When there is a birth of action, then there is a death of that same. And then it has sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair, which is in one word is dukkha. So dukkha is the all encompassing word which kind of encompasses all different states of trouble or pain or inconvenience a person feels. So everybody can understand that there is a little amount of inconveniences anybody kind of feels. Like when they sit, they have to change the position. They do like this, a little bit of changing of position. So that is a small dukkha. And then there is a dukkha of a relative which is there, or there's a pet which is there, passes away. So when a relative passes away or a pet passes away, you kind of cry. You may kind of beat your heart and become distraught. That is also a dukkha. So the range of dukkha is vast. And that is what Buddha says in the Four Noble Truths, that there is dukkha means you have to understand what are the full understanding of the dukkha, how in each cases these are coming about. So that is what you need to know is how it originates, how it passes away, what is the gratification. So when there is a pet which you have, so there is a lot of gratification, but you don't understand the danger in that. That when that pet is there, a dog is there, in 14 years, 15 years, 20 years, the dog has to pass away. It has to go to the next stage. And then you will have the grief at that point of time. And then there is an escape. There is a eightfold path. There is a way of understanding this. And then there is a way of escaping from this samsara. So these are the bonds which are for the samsara. Then in the last, the Buddha says is, one is detached from bad, unwholesome states that are defiling, conducive to renewed existence, troublesome, ripening in suffering, leading to future birth, old age, and death. Therefore, one is said to be secure from bondage. These are the severances of the bonds. So when these ties which are there, one is kind of attached to, when those ties are broken, then he is away from the samsara, the cycle of birth and death. Fettered by the bond of sensuality and the bond of existence, fettered by the bond of use, preceded by ignorance, beings go in samsara, led on in birth and death. But having entirely understood sense pleasures and the bond of existence, having uprooted the bond of use and dissolved ignorance, the sages have severed all bonds. They have gone beyond bondage. So this is the path to go towards Nibbana. And that is what the Buddha is saying, that by understanding how the reality is there, how something is originating, how it is passing away, how you are gaining gratification. So one thing Bhante Vimalramsi used to say, that not all things is dukkha. Because if all things was dukkha, then how would you know, how do you distinguish? There should be sukha, so to distinguish the dukkha, So the gratification which the Buddha is talking about is this is the gratification. So you acknowledge the kind of the pleasure which you gain from certain things, and you acknowledge the danger into it also, that everything is impermanent. Thus, every pleasure which you kind of depend on is dependent on certain things which are impermanent. So there is one recent news that immortality will be kind of achieved by medical science in 8 years' time. Not much time, 8 years' time. So by 2029, immortality will be possible. So one way of looking at immortality is that you can add the number of years. Say if you are 50, in 1 year you will be 51, but there is a way you can take one pill a day, and by the end of 1 year, the 1 year of aging is reduced. That means that you will be always in 50 years of age. So you can take, say, a certain medicine, and then you are always 50. Then the second way of looking at is that you improve on your age. So in each year of the treatment, you reduce 1 year of your age. So you may start at 50, and at 1 year, you at the end of the year, you should have been 51, but medically you will be 49 years of age. So for that also they have found a formula of medical age and the calendar age. So as per medical age, they will kind of do an assessment of your blood and everything, how much cholesterol you have, body fat, all those things. And then in the same way, you will get younger and younger until you want to stop at certain age. Say you want to stop at 25. So you will become 25 and stay 25, because each year when you are coming, you can extend your age by 1 year. So you will stay there for 25. But they don't understand that the fundamental things which we are based on, the earth itself is limited lifespan is there. So there is no immortality in that. There is a time when the earth will also have to go. So that is the reason people like Elon Musk want to have another planets. So they will have another planet they can escape to. So then after that, they will find a way to go to another star. If the sun loses its energy and it has a time to kind of end, then they will go to another star. Then there is a way of when they are going and running out of stars. They will go, they say, and there is one type of star which is there, which is very hot. They will kind of cover the star and take their energy and survive on that energy. But at that one point of time, the star that which is there in 1 billion years or 100 billion years or 10 billion years, whatever is the scientific timeline, that timeline it will go cold. And that time, even the atoms which is there, 2 atoms, their strength will also not be there to stay together, and it will become into 2 different atoms. So in this way, the impermanence of the universe is there. So there is no immortality which is there possible in any possible way. So one should understand how this is happening, how there is origination, how there is a passing away, how there is a gratification in certain things, how there is an danger in everything which is there. So the fundamental thing which is there is the danger. The danger is that impermanence is the danger. Then the next stage is the escape. So one understands that how one can escape from these bonds. And once one understands this, one can kind of see more clearly all those things in the meditation. That is the reason the practice of meditation is important, because we can go deeper. But continuing the meditation in the day, as Bhante says, that life is meditation and meditation is life. So continuing to do the 6 hours means continue to recognize that if your mind is going too much away, or it is thinking about many negative things, then you can go recognize that and release it, relax, smile, and come back to whatever you are doing in your life. You know, if you are working on a computer, then you come on the computer. If you are working on, say, cleaning or cooking, you can go to that. You can go to, say, if you are doing a physical work, put your attention on that physical work, and ensure that you are knowing how your mind's attention is moving from one thing to another. So that is the definition of mindfulness. So being able to recognize how your mind's attention is moving from one thing to another, how these things are impersonal, and how we are creating dukkha by resisting them, and how these are impersonal because we are not calling for those things to come up, those thoughts to come up. So we are taking those also very personally. Why did I have such a thought? Why did I have such a cruel thought? So there was a monk who was sitting in meditation, and he was having thoughts about having killing people. So he came to Buddha and said, "I am not able to meditate. Whenever I close my eyes, I have thoughts of people of I am killing scores and scores of people." So the Buddha says that many lifetimes ago in this forest, you were the king over here, and you fought many battles in this field. And that is the reason your old memories are coming up now of those things. And just the Buddha says, be aware and send metta. and start with doing metta meditation, and then those thoughts will go away. So the origination of those things which are there, so one understands how it originating and how they can be let go, and how there is a gratification in certain things. Certain pains also people are attached to those pains. That's the reason abusive relationship, people are not able to go away from that. Men and women both, so they can be in an abusive relationship, and they don't leave because there is a certain kind of pleasure which is derived from that also. They don't understand the danger in those relationships, and they don't know how to escape from it. So those are the things which is fundamental teaching the Buddha is giving, and this is applicable for all life and all aspects of our life. So this is the teaching, and if there are any questions, we'll be open for questions. Any questions not related to this also is open. Yes, Hugh?
Thank you, Bhante. I have a question here. How what you've described today relates also to what's described in the suttas as renunciation. And often renunciation, I think, is associated just with the sensory. But do you think renunciation, if you like, this whole sutta is about renunciation?
Yes, this is about cutting off the bonds. It is about cutting off the ties. It is about giving up. So this, in other words, is about renunciation. So renunciation is one way of saying that you are taking away the I in it, So there is an attachment because there is an I. This is me. This is mine. This is myself. So there is a attachment to certain thoughts, certain kind of ideas, and certain kind of concepts, because we think that this is my concept, this is my idea. So when we are able to renounce those ideas, when we are able to renounce those concepts, when we are able to kind of give up on those ideas which are not working, that is how a development happens. That's the reason Buddha says that there is an escape. So escape is the eightfold path which is there. So you understand what are the kind of the wholesome ideas are there, views are there, perspective is there. So when you understand there is a good correct perspective, then you understand what are the thoughts or intentions or the imaging, as Bhante says. So you recognize what as the image you have to keep. When you are keeping that, then you are knowing how to communicate well. When you are communicating well, then your actions are or the movement which is there is wholesome. When there is that movement is wholesome, then the whole life is wholesome. When the life is wholesome, then you have a wholesome practice. Harmonious practice is there. Then when the harmonious practice is there, then the harmonious observation is there. When the harmonious observation is there, then collectedness is there of mind. So in this way, it progresses. So it progresses by the views which are there. And the correct view which is there is about renunciation. In the Four Noble Truths also, you understand the dukkha. There is dukkha. Then there is a cause for the dukkha. And there is a cessation of it. What is the cessation of the dukkha? Is giving up on craving. If the cause of the dukkha is craving, then the thing is about giving up. So that also renunciation is there over there in that Four Noble Truths. Also, there is a concept of renunciation. So renunciation is the not just giving up of things which are like they say that give up on good foods or good music or all these things. But there are concepts also. There are like our attachment to existence, which is there. There are attachment to views which are there. So those are also to be renounced, not just what are physical, which is there. So yes, that's a very good observation. No.
And the renunciations, so I can kind of get this clear in my mind. What we're renouncing is actually our identity with this experience. And we renounce it through a practice which shows us how when we identify with it, it creates dukkha, but when we don't identify with it, it doesn't. Would that be right?
Correct. So that impersonal process which is there, that is the reason Bhante Vimal Ramsey also has an emphasis on the impersonal process. So when we are identifying something, it's like the thought itself. When the thought arises and it is my thought, is a different kind of a relationship with that thought than seeing that there is a thought. So this has come up based on causes and condition. If that is your kind of perspective on an arising thought, then your attachment is not there in that same level as you think that this is my thought. I have thought of this thing. So then it is difficult to renounce because there is a I involved in it. So Bhante also used to say when you are in quiet mind that I am bored. The Bhante used to say, well, I. See, there is an I over here. So you have to give up that I. When you give up that I, only then you can go beyond that boredom. So,
okay, so what I'm hearing here, which I think is quite helpful, is because the temptation with around renunciation is to feel that everything has to get sort of dry and almost unpleasant. But renunciation isn't about this. Renunciation is about allowing something to be itself. So the smell of the flower is absolutely fine. And in the sort of reference you gave there, I think the monk continually goes back to re-smell the flower. But if he was simply passing and realized it was a pleasant experience and then moved on, this would be fine. So it's not that there isn't the pleasant in the life as well as the unpleasant.
correct.
There isn't that different views can come up in the mind. It's the attachment to different views which is the problem. It's not that we don't recognize that our clothes can be comfortable or uncomfortable. It's whether we get upset that our uncomfortable clothes are not what we would want right now. So the whole fabric of life, if you like, is still available, but it's the attachment to it or the opinion about it or the preference which is the issue. So I think there's a lovely reference in the Samyutta Nikaya which goes, when you give up clinging, then the khandhas, which is basically our whole experience, comes for our welfare and happiness. And I think sometimes when we talk about renunciation, we can feel that there's no happiness. But this is the happiness of contentment, of about accepting the way things are. And that's a happiness which is much deeper and much more profound and more spacious than any happiness that comes by exerting a preference. Would that be right?
Yeah, very good. That's a very kind of wholesome perspective which you are having. So what you are saying is the same, is that when we are understanding, then it becomes very easy to let go. One example the Buddha gives is of the poison and medicine. So if there is a poison which is very sweet and pleasant to have, would you have it? The monk says no. If the poison is bitter, would you have it? Is it doubly no? So because it is bitter and it is a poison, why should I have that? The Buddha says that if there is a bitter thing, but it is medicine, like there is a thing which is bitter gourd. The juice of bitter gourd is considered medicinal. So is it something which you will consume? He said, yes, we will consume because it is medicine. It may be difficult, but we will kind of consume. But if there is a medicine which is there, which is made of curds, molasses, and honey, which is made for upset stomach, would you have it? It is kind of sweet and pleasant to have, and then it is medicinal. So that is the understanding which is there when it is developed. It is like having the sweet honey and mustard, the molasses and curds, that portion which is very sweet. So when you understand, letting go is not very difficult. So that is the reason the Buddha's emphasis is there on understanding. So when one understands, it is not a very painful process, as you kind of pointed out. It is a kind of pleasant process, because when you understand, it is like taking a medicine, which is sweet and satisfying. When you do it, there is no pain, there is no suffering, but you kind of benefit from renouncing what you have attached to. So one other thing I'll just talk about is of an anagami who was explaining how the attachment is subtle at the stage of anagami. So he kind of is explaining that if there's a new white cloth is there and it is dirtied and then it is washed very well by all the procedures, it still has a certain tint of which it can differentiate from a new cloth. So that is the amount of attachment which is there. So an anagami, by explaining that his attachment, kind of can let go of that attachment also in that sutta. So that is a very subtle attachments which are there. Once we understood, he himself, when explaining, understood his attachment, he could kind of let go of that attachment. So the understanding which is there is the central to kind of escape, being able to let go. So he was an anagami for a long period of time, but he was not able to let go. But once he kind of tried to explain to others his attachment, he understood his own attachments. And he said, oh, this is so minor, so trivial. Then he kind of let go of that. So that is what you are saying about that. Knowing, understanding is the key. So is there any other questions? Even related to meditation, you can ask.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you. I think everybody understood very well. This was a very simple sutta actually. There is a lot of repetition. I like suttas with repetition. Bhante also used to write suttas with repetition. And they have a tendency to kind of become a little boring, but the repetition kind of has a benefit that those concepts can be internalized. And when you are listening to them again and again, and then they can be kind of be in your mind. And then once certain things happen, and those can come up as memory, and that is the benefit of the style of the Buddha, that he makes you understand and internalize the concepts. So I'm asking for the last time, any questions or any comments also? No, so then we can kind of end this meeting with the sharing of merits. I have the ringer bell also over here. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, one second. I just have an announcement. We have that fundraiser which is there going for huge travel expenses. So I just wanted to share that link once again. I'll share that in the YouTube also, the video which is there in the YouTube video. But I just wanted to share it once again over here also. So 1 second, I should have kept it copy pasted. So please help in this fundraiser also. And one update of Sister Khema I wanted to give. Sister Khema was a little bit feeling better, and yesterday there were a few of those students of hers took her out for lunch. So she was very happy. So she does not go out of that facility a lot, but yesterday she went out, and they had lunch, and she was feeling very happy. So that is the news I wanted to share, that at least she did this to the kind of in many long time she has kind of being able to go out. So, and Bante is still there in the hospital. He's also yesterday, I think 3 or 4 days back, I think there was a meeting, and David told that he's doing good, and he's kind of following some his college football team, where I think he used to play, has gone into the finals or something like that. So he was talking about his team and about his football. So, but he's stable. And there's a lot to be done medically, but it is continuing. So, okay, then thank everybody for coming. And next Sunday, Dr. Madhusudanji is going to come, and this Wednesday, Hugh will take the class on 7:30 India time. Okay, then. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Bante.
Thank you, Bante. Thanking you all.